Ujambo, Shalom, Ma'at Otep, and Assalamu Alaikum. This is your brother Rice, back again with another video. Hopefully you like the contents of this video. If so, please please share the video, leave some comments in the comment section below, and please subscribe. It doesn't cost a penny. Well, I want to speak briefly about the movie Queen and Slim, and I just want to give my 2 cents on the movie itself. Um, it was a very good movie. Very good movie. Daniel Kalula, he's an up and coming actor, very good actor. Um, and um, and I think he's gonna go places. Uh, we just don't want him to go too far down the rabbit hole of Hollywood because we all know how that works if you're conscious. Okay, same thing with the sister that played Queen. Her name escapes me at the moment, but she's an up and comer as well. Once again, uh, wish them both success. But you know how Hollywood is, or Hollywood as I refer to it as. Uh, Hollywood will only elevate you so much, so far, depending on what you're willing to do for them. And again, you conscious brothers and sisters that are watching this video, you know what that is, right? But anyway, the movie starts off. Man, by the way, before I proceed with this video, if you haven't seen the movie, stop this video right now, and you can rewatch the video after you've seen the movie, and then you can watch the video. But if you haven't seen it, turn this video off, go to another video. I don't want to spoil it for you. But for those of you who have seen it, the movie starts off obviously with Queen and Slim. They're on their date. If you want to call it a date, because she was kind of acting stuck upish. But they went rather to on their first date to a diner, and she one of the questions she asked him was, did you come here because this is the only place you could afford? And he was like, no, it's black owned. And I thought that was very key to have that in the script for this movie, because we need to encourage our people to shop at black owned, black operated establishments. Okay? We need to educate our people about doing business amongst ourselves. Okay? Because we're not supporting each other. Every other race, every other nationality supports their own except for us. Every other race, every other nationality supports their own except for us. The white dollar in the white neighborhoods circulate some 50, 60 days before it leaves their neighborhoods. The Asian community in Chinatown, their dollar circulates in their neighborhoods some 70, 80 days before it leaves their neighborhood. The Jews, same way, about 60, 70 days plus before their dollars leave their community and go elsewhere. Us, one day, and we wonder why. We wonder why we're in the situation that we're in. We wonder why we are in the condition that we're in. Because we refuse to support each other. And I already know what some of you are going to say. Well, you know what? I try to do business with my people, and they don't know how to do business properly. And you know what? You're right. I have been to black establishments where the business was not very business-like. And that's when you, as a person, had to go to the owner of that particular store or establishment, pull them to the side, and give them some constructive criticism. So, hey, brother, can I share something with you? I don't feel like the service here was that great. And you being the business owner, I just want to bring this to your attention so you can address it. So it's not so much what you say, it's how you say it. And if that person is not inclined to accept constructive criticism, then I don't care if it's a black owned business or not. I'm gonna still do business with my people. I just want to do business with you. Okay? So if you don't like the way things are running as far as the establishment goes, use your mouthpiece, brothers and sisters. Go to the business owner. Tell him or her, look, bro, look, sis. Get in the situation. Go from there. Don't just say I'm not gonna support black owned business. Don't do that. Because we need each other. Matter of fact, we need each other more now than ever. We need each other more now than ever. Because y'all have to understand and understand. We're fighting two wars. We're fighting two wars, black people in America. And black people all over the diaspora. We're fighting two wars. War number one, white supremacy. War number two, amongst ourselves. We're fighting against white supremacy and we're fighting amongst ourselves. It's hard enough to win one war. It's extremely difficult to win two. In order to combat white supremacy, in order to combat our own selves, because we're being very self-destructive at this time. You can look at news in Chicago. Every time you turn around, it's violence. You can look at the news in Baltimore. Every time you turn around, there's violence. Detroit, Gary, Oakland. I can go on and on. First and foremost, we have to unite as a people. There's no future without unity. None. There's none. We have to unite. We have to. And once we unite as a people, then in order to combat white supremacy and this beast system, we have to learn to use the one weapon we have at our disposal, and that is the black dollar. That black dollar can do just as much damage, if not more, than any weapon can do. And besides, the system has an Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines backing them up. The system has the greatest weapons ever known to man at its disposal. We don't have that. So if you want to talk about violence against the system, you're going to lose. You're going to lose terribly. That's like committing genocide, because you know what's next. So we have to be logical, brothers and sisters. We have to think logically and use the only weapon we have at our disposal. That is the black dollar. So I praise them for putting that line in the movie. Now, they left the movie. He was getting ready to drop her off at home. Her character at the beginning was very snooty and kind of standoffish. So it makes you wonder, her character, what type of childhood she had, which is obviously a screwed up one. And whatnot. So, but anyway, she reached for his phone, got his phone, and when he reached back for the phone, the car swerved. When the car swerved, that got the attention of the police officer. The police officer pulled them over, and Queen Slim, by just observing the attitude of the police officer, his actions, his words, they already saw the man was an asshole, looking for trouble. So it would have behooved them to just keep their mouth shut. I believe a lot of what happened to them probably would not have occurred if old girl had kept the mouth shut. I believe the incident that led to them becoming fugitives probably would not have occurred if old boy had kept his mouth shut when he was outside when the asshole cop was going through his trunk. Yeah, it was cold outside, but this, you see an asshole. Okay, so don't make matters worse. Just continue to be out there, blow on your hands, rub your hands, and be quiet. But they wouldn't do that. He wouldn't be quiet. She damn sure wouldn't be quiet. So that just made matters worse. Uh, then, um, old boy, the cop shot old girl because she was reaching in her pocket for a phone, which, she shouldn't. If you're gonna go for your phone, she probably shouldn't have not said anything and just went for a phone because he was focusing more on him anyway. So she should have just not said anything, reach for a phone and record it. And then he shot old girl in the leg. That's when Slim attacked the cop. The gun flies out of his hand. Okay, him and the cop going at it. He finally was able to free himself of the cop, got the gun, shot the cop. Now, I understand you're scared at this point, and when you're scared, you don't make rational decisions. You make a decision on the fly, which 9 times out of 10 aren't the best decisions because you don't have time to think this thing through. But if they had been more rational, what they should have done was look to see if the cop had a body cam, which he did in fact have one. After that, my opinion, this is my opinion. Leave me some comments in the comment section. But my opinion is they should just turn themselves in. Because once the authorities look at that body cam, they will see that that cop was in the wrong. Not them. The cop was in the wrong. Okay? And that video cam would have vindicated them. And I know when you turn yourself in and throw yourself at the mercy of this beast system, you roll the dice. There's a 50-50 chance things might go your way. There's a 50-50 chance it won't. But let me tell you something, their actions afterwards didn't make things any better. Old girl took the cop's gun out of Slim's hand. And then she suggested we should go. Now, for her to be a lawyer, that was not a very smart decision, I don't think. But that's just me looking at the situation. I don't think that was a very smart idea at all. I think they should just turn themselves in, roll the dice. And her being a lawyer, she could have defended both of them. She could have defended herself, and she could have defended old boy. So that part of the movie did not make sense to me. Now they're on the run. Okay? They're on the run, and they run out of gas. Once they ran out of gas, they realized they left their money in the other car. No, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. So now they're on the run. They run out of gas, but they ain't got no money. So they ended up hitchhiking. Somebody pulled over, willing to help them. Well, that person happened to be a cop, and they didn't know that. So as the cop was driving them to the nearest gas station to get him some gas, and then when Slim realized that was a cop, he began to get real nervous and started to act real nervous. Which that's understandable, but when you playing poker, you don't show your poker face. You just go with the flow. He showed his poker face. And so when the cop went in and heard the news on his scanner about, the shooting in Ohio, he immediately looked back at them and said, it had to be them. And he probably tell them so that's why he was acting so nervous. So to cut to the chase, cop goes back to his truck, but before he goes back to his truck, Queen advises Slim, get in the driver's seat and let's go. But before he could take off, the cop showed up, knocked on the window. Hey, you weren't gonna leave without me, right? That's when old girl pulled out the gun and said, get in. Get in the car. So he gets in, instructs the cop to go back to their car. Makes the cop get inside the trunk. Well, that kind of compounded their problem. Now, they gotta get you for taking the cop's gun. Now they gotta get you for taking the truck and putting that cop in the trunk, whatever charge that is. And it should have dawned on them, well, if you're gonna put the man in your trunk, why don't you at least take his radio from him? I guess that part didn't dawn on him. Because all he got to do is get on the radio, tell them where he's at. And then when they get there to let him out the trunk, he going to be like, look, this is the description of my truck. They took it. And whatever. So that's just more trouble they added to themselves. Then when they get to along the way, as they're driving that truck, they ran out of gas again. And apparently they had money in the car, but I guess they forgot to get the money out of the car because all the thing they were thinking about was the cop. Make a long story short, they ended up going to this gas station. And I guess Slim called himself, hey, I'm going to steal you some gas. I'm going to make this gas attendant give me some gas. Now, this is another part of the movie that didn't make sense to me. Little white boy behind the counter asked Slim, can I see your gun? And he said, well, if you don't let me see the gun, you have to find a gas station to stick up. Let me see your gun. I'll get a free tank. Now I'm thinking to myself, no, that's a setup. He should have known better than that. And if you were going to let him see the gun for some free gas, it should have at least dawned on you. Take the clip out. Take the clip out. You can see the gun all you want. He didn't do that. Then the white boy takes the gun, playing with it, waving it around. Then he finally points it at Slim. Now we know in real life that white boy would have called the authorities and made him stay in that store until the authorities got there. Because he had to recognize them. A stack of newspaper with their face on the cover was right there. If you were a store attendant, you had to see it. So there ain't no way that little white boy would let him out that store. He would have called the authorities. And the old boy would be standing there with that gun pointed at him till the authorities got there. So that part of the movie didn't make any sense. And to make a long story short, they continued down the road. Queen suggested that the best place for them to go and hide out for a few days till they can get things situated was her uncle's house down in New Orleans. Now, they took the cop's truck in Kentucky, some parts of Kentucky. Didn't say where. And they drove from Kentucky to New Orleans. Now I'm gonna tell you something. If you know anything about vehicles, that truck was a gas guzzler. And I'm quite sure 2 tanks would not have got them to New Orleans. Not in no truck like that. Because that thing is a big truck. It burns gas. It drinks gas like water. But anyway, I guess that's Hollywood for you. Anyway, they finally get to New Orleans. And they end up stopping at her uncle's house, Uncle Earl. And brother, sister, we all got an uncle like Uncle Earl, right? But anyway, they stayed there with him for a day or two. He really didn't want them to stay there because they was hot. But you know, they stayed anyway because he owed her. He owed her. Apparently, some time back he killed her mother because they got into an argument. And the argument led to something else. And she, being a lawyer, defended her uncle and got him out of trouble. So that's how he owed her. So she said, this is what I need. And because she felt obligated, this is what he gave her. And like a long story short, a day later, they're on the road again. And as they're headed towards Florida, they happen to come across all sorts of adventures and meeting different people and whatnot. Along the way, the car gave out on them, and so they had to go to the auto mechanic, which was a brother, black owned, black operated. Goes back to what I was saying earlier about black business. Now, the brother that owned the auto mechanic shop, he recognized them. He knew who they were. And the brother was a straight up asshole. Okay? He was an asshole. Now, for the problems that vehicle had, it wouldn't have cost him the whole $2,500 to fix that. He took advantage of them because he knew he could. He took advantage of them because he knew he could. That wasn't right. That wasn't cool. But you know what they say about karma, right? And so, you get yours in the end. But they had no choice but to give them every dime they had. They had to hurry up and get to where they needed to go. And then they ended up at this white couple's house, which the guy was a friend of our Uncle Earl. And they both served in Iraq together. And he saved his life. And so he owed him a favor. So he contacted him, and they was expecting them. And I believe that as they parked the car and were getting out the car, head towards the house, the old white lady across the street saw them and recognized them. And I think she the one that tricked on them, because it wasn't too long after they sat down for dinner that the authorities showed up. But the old white guy, he was a cool guy. He was cool. He said, hey, even if they do show up, they ain't gonna find you. You could tell he was a military man, because that man had all kinds of hiding places. So, but yeah. And then after they stayed under the bed in the little hideout that they had, I guess they got tired of staying there. I think it would behoove them to stay there a little longer. I think they should have, get out, go use the bathroom if you got to, then get your ass right back in that hole. But they got impatient. They didn't want to wait. I think they should have stayed there. But they probably would have got away or got further than what they did at least. But they grew impatient. Ended up jumping out the window, 2-story window on the ground. Now, apparently, when she landed on the ground, she dislocated her shoulder. Now, good and well, the police would have heard that. But they didn't. But they were able to hear while she was in the garage, you know, screaming because of the pain. Now you make that make sense. But anyway, thankfully, when they were discovered by a cop, thankfully the cop was a brother. He recognized them. He saw the whole body cam because apparently it went viral, and he let him go, which was a righteous thing to do. Right on, brother. So now their journey continues all the way to Florida. Once they get there, they run to this brother that was supposed to take them to the guy that owns the plane to try to get them to Cuba. I said it before, I said 1,000 times. Our people, sometimes we are our own worst enemy. Sometimes we are our own doggone worst enemy. If you don't believe me, look out here on the streets. You see it every day. We are no longer our brother's keeper. No longer our sister's keeper. Being your brother's keeper went out the door when we got civil rights. Being your sister's keeper went out the door when President Lyndon B. Johnson signed a civil rights bill into law, when they ended desegregation, which was the worst thing that could happen to us. Because during segregation, we had no choice but to be there for one another. We had no alternative but to be your brother's keeper, to be your sister's keeper, because we all we had. Now the government giving you all kind of choices. Now you breaking your neck to give your money to your enemy. Make a long story short, in the end of this video, old boy ended up tricking on him. He tricked on him. Now, if that was based on a true story, you know what I say? I hope he don't get a chance to enjoy a dime of that money. Not a dime, because you know what your brothers and sisters went through. And you know they they were, you saw the video. You know they weren't in the wrong. And still you try to be a righteous brother to help them. You stab him in the back. Now that you stab him in the back, you twisted the knife. Y'all run across brothers and sisters like that? They so treacherous and low down. Not only will they stab you in the back, but they'll twist the knife. That's messed up. That's messed up. That's more than messed up. But I ain't gonna use that word. So, yep. Our own brother ended up tricking on him. So, a lot of times we call the white man the devil. But keep in mind, devils come in all colors. There's a lot of black devils too. That being said, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please like, share this video if you liked it enough. Most importantly, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you a penny. Leave some comments in the comment section. I'd like to know what you think about the movie and my observation of the movie as well. Okay? Till next time, brothers and sisters, and you too, family. Call Heavy. I'm out.